And I find that the older that I've gotten, I've learnt to accept my flaws, my imperfections, things that I used to be insecure about. Even been able to say no in your church, your denomination, your place of worship. The second one is boundaries. Boundaries. Can we say B for boundaries? B for boundary. And I've definitely come to realize that it's quality over quantity. Now that in my 30s, I've understand sometimes it's not even about confrontation, it's about having a conversation. The next one is you don't have to have it all figured out, even in your 30s. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're doing well, or if this is your first time tuning in, then welcome. I decided, hold on, please excuse my arms guys, I just put deodorant on my arms, but we're going to sort that out in a minute. I just turned 33 yesterday and I thought it would be a good time for me to sit down and do my makeup whilst I get ready to go for dinner with the girlies and talk about 10 things that I've learnt in my 30s. So let's go. Firstly, please ignore my setup. My light is not that great because I can't put my light behind here because it's my stairs. I'm still trying to figure out how my lighting's going to work when I'm doing sit down videos, but we're going to get there. We're going to get there. So before I start, during this video, I'm going to show you all the things that I use, like my updated makeup routine and the kind of look that I do for dinner. I have an hour before I need to go. So I feel like it's enough time because the kids are downstairs with daddy and his friend, and the restaurant that I chose is near me, so I don't have far to go. So I actually get to sit down and do one of these videos. I haven't been able to because I'm always with the kids and I never have silence around me, or when I'm like have my days to work, I'm doing other work, so I don't have time to sit down and do a proper detailed like makeup routine. So the first thing I use is this. So I cream my face with this this cream from Primark. It is the vitamin enriched moisturizing primer. I love this. I always use this as a base. And guys, I bought a new primer. Let me get my makeup bag. I used it yesterday when we went to a hotel for my birthday and that. So everything is actually in here. Everything should be in here. So I'm going to start. So the first product I'm going to talk to you guys about is this primer, the oil sucker by One Size. Ladies, let me just tell you, yeah, I am an oily babe. Like, I always get oily when I'm wearing my makeup. So every single primer I use, actually Elf is quite good. Elf primer is my current favorite, but I think this is definitely taken first. I have to prime my face when doing my makeup. So yesterday I used it for the first time for dinner. And when I put it on, I realised I did not need to put that much on. So my face was matte, like so matte. And I don't like it when my face is too matte, but it was very matte the whole night, even when I got home. So this works. So today, because I used it yesterday, I'm going to put it in my T-zone. You're going to see how quick it mattes and dries my face. It is incredible. And also, I have smile lines, guys. And no matter which primer I use, you will always see my smile lines. Yesterday, they had disappeared, all thanks to this primer. I'm not going to use a lot because it's not cheap. I think it was about £30. Anyway, let's start with the points. So one of the first things I've learnt in my 30s is self-acceptance is key. And I find that the older that I've gotten, I've learnt to accept my flaws, my imperfections, things that I used to be insecure about. I've learnt to accept small things about my appearance, small flaws that I have, and I know it's just who I am. I can't perfect those. It is just who I am. I've learned to embrace and appreciate my flaws, and self-love becomes more important than self-validation. And honestly, I feel like that has changed over time. Because when you're younger, you know, you look at your flaws and things that you kind of wish that you had, or you kind of wish that you didn't have, or you wish you were like this person, or you wish certain flaws could just go away and things like that. But self-acceptance, obviously there's things that you can work on and things that you can improve. But just learning to accept yourself for who you are, my unique self, is definitely one thing I've done in my 30s. I'm using the Redefine eyebrow gel. I usually use one that I got from Shein, but I can't find it. Can you guys see how matte? I can't even move my mouth. That is how matte this is. It actually feels like, you know, Milk of Magnesium? It actually feels like that. The second one is boundaries. Boundaries. Can we say B for boundaries? B for boundaries. where do we start here? Boundaries with everybody. Boundaries with your children. Boundaries. Obviously, my children is a bit harder because they're younger. I'm using Too Faced Born This Way concealer. This is my favourite concealer. And I'm just going to put it here to dry whilst I kind of do everywhere else. And this is in shade Butterscotch. Boundaries is key. And when I was younger, I didn't really set boundaries because, you know, when you're younger, you kind of want to please everyone. You kind of want to be involved with everyone. You kind of want to be on everyone's side. You kind of want to blend in or mix in or be approved, or just looking for some kind of, like I said earlier, external validation. And when you're like that, there's so many times you could become offended with things and you would just ignore it, or there are things you didn't agree with, or there's certain things that that you know is not acceptable, but you kind of let it go, or you let people speak to you in a certain way, but you kind of let it go, or you allow people to push those boundaries knowing that you feel uncomfortable with it, but you kind of don't want to tread on their toes or anything like that. I've learned that boundaries are key. I'm now using the Maybelline Fit Me Matte Poreless foundation in colour 360. I've been using this since coming back from holiday. It's like the perfect colour match because I'm still very much tanned for my holiday. So this is like the perfect colour for me at the moment. And you know what? It's not even about just setting boundaries. Boundaries are essential, absolutely essential. And I definitely only realised that as I got older. Whether this is boundaries that you need to set at work, whether it's in your relationships, you need to set those boundaries, sis. You need to set those boundaries. And learning to say no. Learning to say no. Oh my gosh. Do you know how many people struggle with this? And this is one tip that I wish I followed when I was younger. There were so many times, if I look back, so many situations I found myself in. And I wouldn't even say negative or like huge, like major situations. Sometimes it's the day-to-day that things that people get used to because they're so used to you not setting those boundaries. I wish at times that I just learned to say no. No, I don't want to be there, or no, I can't talk right now, or no, I don't want to have this conversation, or no, I don't want to come, or no, I don't want to be involved, or no, I don't want to talk about it right now. I've definitely learned to be a lot more confident with saying no now that I'm in my 30s. And that's one thing I definitely wish that I did a lot more in my 20s. This foundation is so nice. Can you just see how it just applies so nicely? It's still not my perfect colour, but it's good. It's good. So now we're going to do the brows. For some reason, I can't find my brow pen. Anyway, guys, I'm just going to have to use a pencil and quickly do my brows and I'll come back. Even been able to say no in your church, your denomination, your place of worship, or religious settings, learning to say no. I know sometimes I would say it isn't easy because I'm not even talking about just church or those religious settings, but sometimes I find a lot of people, young people, talk about feeling, oh, this is too light, this is sand. Why did I use sand? So I usually use butterscotch under my brows as well, but I've accidentally used a lighter colour. This is if I want a really light concealer and I really like colour sand, but because I've got a tan, this colour is too light. But yeah, learning to say no, that I can't make it today, I can't come to church today, I can't be a part of this play. And the thing is, that's what I'm saying, it's not bad to be a part of these things, and it's always good to be involved with certain things, but there are certain times you really have to just learn to say no. Even if it seems like you have to say no to a certain position of authority, for your sake, you need to learn to say no. There's respect in honouring someone or honouring someone in a position, but there are generally times when you know you are not in the place to say yes, but you're saying yes just to please them. So you have to start thinking about what's your intention and the reasons why you're saying yes. Is it because you want to please someone? Is it because you want to feel accepted? Or is it genuinely because you can? So if you genuinely can, of course, no problem. But I found that there were times that I was saying yes when I genuinely needed to say no because I just wasn't in the position to be saying yes. But I still said yes anyway. Does that make sense? Next, I've spoken about this already when I was talking about things that I'm taking into the new year. You could probably already guess. Actually, I want you to guess. What do you guys think I'm about to talk about? 3, 2, 1. Health. Health is my priority, one of my priorities. When I was younger, when I tell you, yeah, I wasn't really interested. I used to just think, oh, because I'm slim, because I'm young, because thank God I didn't have like any illness or any disease or anything like that, and I have a good immune system, it was never something I thought about. Like deeply, it was never something that I thought about. Never. Like if I wasn't feeling well, I kind of just, I don't know, ignored it. I just thought I'm just having a stomach ache, or like, you know, I was never concerned about my health, how my health was going to be as I grew older. That's the term. I was never concerned. I never thought, oh, how's my health going to be, you know, when I'm in my 30s? How's my health going to be, you know, after I become a mum, you know, and I have children? How's my health going to be as my body gets older, as I start to age? How's my health going to be? You know, I just never ever thought about it. And obviously I shared before, guys, that earlier this year, I found out that I had a cyst, and I had no clue that I had a cyst. And it's because I was having symptoms. I was feeling unwell, and knowing myself before, I would have just said, oh, you know, it's not that I would have accepted it. I would have ignored it. I would have just ignored it and thought, oh, I don't know, like I feel better. Or I was so busy with everything else, I never prioritized my health. I didn't think it was anything. And I don't know if it came from a place of being naive, just because I thought, you know, I'm not someone who's on medication. I'm not someone who has to take things. I'm not, I don't need to, do you know what I mean? I don't need to regularly go to the hospital. Or regularly having to go to the doctors. I always thought, I'm okay, like I'm all right. But that is the wrong mindset to have. Yes, I would say even in my 20s, I was always going to the gym. I was very healthy. I was very fit. Oh, I'm just using the Juvia's Place, the Warrior palette. And I use this colour all the time, the brown. It's really, really nice. I'm just going to put that on my eyebrow. I don't do much eyeshadow. And because I'm running out of time, I'm literally just going to do this brown colour here on top. And then I'm going to add the darker colour on the sides. But yeah, it was just never a thing that I made a priority. The only thing I would say in my 20s that I was working out, I was going to the gym. And if you're in your 20s, it's not just about having a good physique. It's also keeping your body moving and getting into that routine and that lifestyle that as you get older is something that you simply do. Because I found that people who never really exercise in their 20s, it's hard for them to start getting into that routine in their 30s. So I definitely suggest starting to work out now. But that's one thing that is absolutely my priority in my 30s. Like, ask my husband if I'm not feeling well, anything, absolutely anything, even with him, I'm like, we have private health insurance now, so if there's anything that I'm feeling, anything, I'm like, yeah, I'm calling them, I'm finding out, I'm getting an appointment, because it's become so important to me. The fact that I needed to have surgery when I had no idea about something that was growing in my body, that for me was like, I need to make this my priority. Talking about mental health, I could talk about this all day. I don't know where to start and I don't know where to stop. I'm going to use Made by Mitchell's curve case. I have both. I have the dark and I have the medium. But since I've come back from holiday, I've been finding myself reaching for the dark. So I'm going to use a mix of these two to contour, just add some dimension to my face. Look how nice it just applies to my face, guys. It's perfect. I love it. And I also use the blush, but I'll show you how I do that. Mental health, guys. I am so thankful that we are having conversations about mental health and that it's become such a common thing now, especially since COVID. I'm sure I'm not the only one that noticed it became... My son's doing a wee-wee on the toilet. I'm sure I'm not the only one that realised that mental health really became a thing during COVID and after. So many reasons why people were behaving a certain way before were disguised, or not even disguised, ignored, disguised, and maybe not very obvious because it wasn't really a thing. Can you come and get Joelle? Huh? Can you come and get Jojo? So now that that's done, I like to blend it out with my brush just to make sure it doesn't look too harsh. So now I'm going to powder. Baby's downstairs. We've just put on the TV now, so you're going to hear the TV downstairs to keep them distracted. I'm like out of breath because I've run up and down the stairs. So I'm going to try to speak loud enough so you guys can hear because I can't find my microphone. So now I'm going to set my face. I'm going to use the One Size setting powder in Sweet Honey. I really love this setting powder. But I also love Charlotte Tilbury's Airbrush Flawless Finish in colour 3 for my under eye and colour 4 for the rest of my face. But because I'm going out, when I'm going like out, I tend to want a lighter under eye. So I will use this one. And then for like my, if I'm not going out, I will just use a Charlotte Tilbury one. But I think today, because I'm going out and it's my birthday, I'm going to use this one. I like to use my small ones that I got from TikTok, which I love. So basically you tap it in and you pat your hands to kind of get off the excess. And then you kind of set your eye. Look how perfect that sets, guys. It sets perfectly. I love it. Yeah, mental health. Not only my other mental health, but also mine, because sometimes I'm the kind of person, and if you're like me, sometimes you're very aware of other people's mental health, but sometimes not your own. And I found that when I was younger, on retrospect, there were so many times that I wasn't in a good place. And because of the kind of person I was, sometimes not owning up to the fact that I need help or I need to talk to someone, my feelings and how I was feeling at the time was ignored. And I know that I could have avoided that big time. Because when you ignore certain things you need to work on, it can really have an impact on you in a negative way. Mental health is just key, and if you have to step out or step back or come out of a situation or seek help and seek advice, in my 30s, babes, that's what I was doing. Like, if I needed to put myself first and work on myself, I made that key. Absolutely. If I had to pause everything, if I couldn't be there for everybody, if I couldn't be the same Desreen available as I was before, that's fine, because my mental health was priority and certain things that I wanted to work on was more important. Next is friendships evolve. Now, friendships, when you're older, guys, and when you have children, we all know that friendships, I'm going to use the MAC mineral finish in powder because I feel like this is a little bit darker than the Charlotte Tilbury. And because I'm still quite dark, I'm going to use that. Let me just check actually, because sometimes I feel like it's darker. So I've got the shade 4 and shade 3. I love this powder. Actually, no, this is darker. Why did I do that? So this is what I use for my setting powder. Charlotte Tilbury products, guys, are excellent. It's this one. The airbrush in shade 4 to set my face. I feel so matte, so I really need to spray. Yeah, so what was I saying? Oh, friendships evolve. And like I was just saying, especially after having kids, sorry guys, I'm like trying to rush because I haven't got enough time. Friendships most definitely evolve over time, and especially after you have kids, after you have more responsibilities, you have bills to pay, you have mortgage to pay, you have work deadlines, you've got other little children, other little people who are dependent on you. You know, so much changes when you're older, and I've come to understand that with that, friendships evolve. And with that, I've also learnt not to take things to heart. I found that when I was younger, if someone did something or was upset about something, I might not even talk about it, because I'm someone who doesn't like confrontation. I've always been that kind of person. That's never changed. Up to now, I'm not that person. I don't like confrontation. However, now that in my 30s, I've understand sometimes it's not even about confrontation. It's about having a conversation. And it's just talking about how you feel. Talking about your feelings is definitely something that I've learned, because I found that for me personally, it was something that I was definitely doing with my husband. It was definitely something that I was doing with God in prayer. But it wasn't really something that I was doing with my friends or people that I care about. And that has definitely changed in my 30s. And I found because I was having those conversations, I was feeling less upset, less offended, because I would have conversations already about how I felt. I've got these lashes from TikTok shop. And because I was having those conversations, how I was feeling, how my friends been feeling was very clear. So I knew what to do to make them happy. Because like I said, friendships evolved. So when I was in my 30s, let's say I feel like I needed more conversation. I needed to speak to them all the time. I needed to know what was going on in your life. And if I didn't know what was going on in your life, I would be upset. But now in my 30s, I understand. If you don't get back to me in 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 days, I understand. Do you know what I mean? I show grace. I understand that I need to show grace. And I understand now that people are going through things. People are busy. People have a life. I'm not like their first priority. I've come to understand those things. So I'm getting less offended and upset and feeling less. It's kind of helped me. And that has been huge, because it just means that I'm having less like heartbreak or friendship issues or getting upset over certain things than like I used to. And I've definitely come to realize that it's quality over quantity. I have a solid group of friends, handful of friends that I can count on. And I love that for me. I love that for me because I've come to realize when I was younger, I was more worried about and concerned about the amount of friends I had. I was more concerned about the amount of people that I knew, the amount of people that were in my circle, the number of them, on how many people I knew and how many people can depend on me and how many people I can depend on, how many people I can call and how many people I can say, yeah, this person's got my back or this person's there for me. Or if I had like a special, if it was like my birthday or something, I wanted to make sure I did something with this many people. But now, quality over quantity any day. Quality over quantity. That is my memo. That is what I really, really believe in. And as I've gotten older, that has definitely made a huge difference, because it means that there's some people that genuinely were just in my life for a season, and I've had to understand that sometimes people are just in your life for a season. It doesn't mean that you have a problem with them. It doesn't mean that you dislike them. It doesn't mean there's no like personal issues going on. It's just that it was a season that this person needs to be in your life for, and that's it. There's also people I'm now using the blush, which I absolutely love. And also there are people that you've had in your life for a long time, and that relationship is no longer the same as it was when you were younger. You know, so the way that you communicate isn't the same that you used to communicate when you're younger. Their needs and their love language in relationships are different, because there's also love languages in friendships, not just, you know, with your spouse or with your boyfriend or girlfriend. And I've really come to understand that, because even me, I feel like my love language in my friendships and my relationships have also changed. Do you know what I mean? Now I'm going to set my face. I use Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Setting Spray, and I use the One Size spray. I find that when I use this spray alone, it really makes my face really matte, and like I said, I don't like my face when it's too matte. So that's all I'm going to spray. I've already put my glue on my lashes, so now I'm going to quickly do... Am I going to do an eyeliner? I don't think so. I haven't really been feeling eyeliner recently. I'm going to put my lashes on in a second. I'm just going to put on some highlight. Let's do some highlights. So for my highlights, I use Fenty Trophy Wife. Love it, love it, love it. A little goes a long way. So yeah, quality definitely over quantity is one thing I've learned about friendships as I got older. And also communication is key. Don't assume. Do not assume, guys, in any of your relationships. There's so many times in my marriage that I've assumed things. I've assumed that my husband should have known how I was feeling. I assumed that he would have done this for me. I assumed that my friends would have thought that this or understood this. Do not assume when it comes to relationships. I used to assume so much. And like I said, when you become like that, you can really ruin good relationships or cause problems that didn't need to be there, or problems that didn't even exist, because you are assuming things, assuming that someone is supposed to do this for you. Someone is supposed to call you this amount of times, or this person's supposed to be there for you in this specific certain way, even though you haven't vocalized it to them. You know, having those assumptions will always let you down. Honestly, my husband says it all the time. We should never assume, have any assumptions, or assume or have expectations. Expectations. I'm telling you, I'm telling you guys, I've had to learn this the hard way. I have had to learn this the hard way, that having those high expectations on people will only hurt you. Expecting people to do certain things, expect people to behave a certain way, it's only going to upset you because you're expecting it. The person don't know what you're expecting. The person has no clue. Or you've put them on a certain pedestal and they have no clue. It's only yourself. Do you know what I mean? Let's move to the next one. I need to be finished in 5 minutes. My next one. Honestly, when I was writing these out, there's more, but I've come down to 10. The next one is you don't have to have it all figured out. Even in your 30s. There are so many amazing women doing amazing things. In different ways, because amazing doesn't mean just financially or career or business. Amazing within themselves, feeling a completely different woman than they used to feel. Who are finding their careers in their 30s, who are finding, you know, the things that they love, or learning new things in their 30s, and that is incredible. So even for me, you know, when I turned, after my 30s, is when I decided to go full-time in my content creating. I made that decision to do that in my 30s. Now, that's basically me starting a career in my 30s. And it's worked out. It's been a blessing. I hear so many people so many women going for their dreams or for their goals in their 30s. And that's okay. So if you don't have it all figured out in your 20s, it's okay. And I'm not going to lie, there was a time in my 20s I was feeling like, at this point, I should know what I'm doing. I should know where I'm going. Or why do I feel like I don't know, like I was feeling all over the place. And I was like, why do I not know what I'm doing? Why do I not know where I'm going? But it's okay. And it's okay to feel like that when you're going into your 30s, because it's not too late to figure it out. The last few I need to try and get through. The last few is financial independence. I find having financial independence in your 30s is important. And I find that women, when they reach their 30s, they want to be more stable. They want to know that I have stability in life, if anything happens, for my future, for my goals. So someone's messaged me. And I find that in your 30s, people are, you know, saving more, investing, looking into things that they probably wouldn't have done in their 30s. So that's definitely one thing that I have done. I have been able to build a good amount of savings. I've been able to, you know, invest and do things that will benefit me financially in my 30s. Yeah, and I just found that in my 30s, I was just more focused on those things, because in my 20s, I wasn't thinking about, you know, for me personally, this is just for me, I wasn't really thinking about my financial stability in the future. And I think that definitely comes from my upbringing. With my upbringing, my parents didn't really talk about, you know, making sure you had this, had that. Didn't even really talk about property. Didn't really talk about making sure you have money aside for a rainy day. Those things I didn't learn. And of course, they don't talk about those stuff in school. I don't know if they talk about it now, because, you know, there's so many people that are talking about it now, and so many charities and things, not even charities, support groups and stuff that talk about it. But that's something that I didn't really think about before. And it's something that is definitely really important to me now that I'm in my 30s. The next one, guys, is kind of related to another point, is that you can redefine yourself in your 30s. And when I say that, again, it's not just about career or financial stability, even though those things are important. You can also redefine yourself personally with the person you are. You might feel that you are some person that was written off, you know. You never really achieved anything great. You weren't really a confident person in yourself, a go-getter. Or maybe you were someone that was just so focused on those things that just happiness wasn't important to you. So redefining yourself, I also found that I was redefining myself in a sense of becoming overall complete. Feeling confident in myself more, investing in making sure I feel confident in myself, and investing in myself financially, investing in my health, investing in my self, in bettering myself in all aspects to make sure I have things to offer. I'm also confident, I'm also loving and caring, but I'm also investing in myself and giving to me and sensitive to myself. Recreating the person that I want to be. It's not too late to do that in your 30s. And I found myself doing that more in my 30s. I feel like when I was younger, I wasn't really thinking about the person that I wanted to become. And I feel like it's definitely changed more since I've had kids as well, that I have become more aware of the person that I want to be. And I've definitely done a lot of work to be better for myself and those around me. So my makeup's almost done. I did want to go for a red lip today. I'm wearing a red dress. My husband doesn't like red lipstick. I don't know why, and I hate it so much. I hate the fact that he doesn't like it. But because I'm not out with him today, I'm thinking to wear a red lip. The next point is confidence grows over time. When I was in my 20s, I wasn't really confident. I was confident in certain things. Let's say I was confident in my marriage because I had been a wife for some time. I got married at 21. I was quite confident in the work that I'm doing. But I would say I always felt like I could do better as a mum, even though that was in my late 20s. I also, oh, my other light's gone off. I wasn't really a confident person because I was always looking at other people. That's the honest truth. There's no point even going to factors. I wasn't confident because I was always looking to others. In my 30s, I learned to close my eyes and look to myself. Look to myself and look to Jesus. And look to servants in the Bible that were incredible examples. And also people that I look up to now, looking up to them as motivation and not to make me feel less than, if that makes sense. Because before it was literally always, not feeling confident in myself and just thinking that I was always not as good as the other person. That's something that I definitely struggled with. And in my 30s, I've really gained that confidence by keeping my eyes on me and looking at my life and creating a life that I wanted. It meant that I had to put the work in to do that. But now I feel like the person that I've become and the person that I've invested in myself is that confident person now. And I really thank myself for that. The last 2 points is relationships require work. Now, I specifically said work and not time because everybody's time is different. You can't just have friendships and not invest in them. You can't just care about people and not invest in them and make time for them. You actually have to make time for them. Relationship needs work. And that's what I was saying. Not time, because time, with time, you tend to measure your friendship by the time that you spent with them, which is important because to have those friendships, you need to spend time with them. Do you know what I mean? But work is more important than time. Investing in that person, putting the work in is what is needed for relationships. Whether it's friendships, whether it's marriage, you need to put that work in. And I've definitely learned that over the years, especially since being 30, because like I said, when I was younger, you would see everyone every day. In my old church, I would see everyone every day. So I didn't really need to put the time in because I knew that I was going to see them on Wednesday or Sunday or Friday service. But now I'm not seeing them as much as I used to. So I need to make that time to see them. Even in my new church, we all have children. So I need to make sure that I find time out of that, but all of us, we find time to meet away from the kids, not work, put the work in to schedule that time in. Do you know what I mean? Not just to wait to see each other or wait to be able to spend with each other. Put the work in to prioritize you having those moments. And I think that's really, really key. And something that I absolutely learned. Because like I said, when you're in school, college, uni, you will see your friends every day. But as you get older, you actually have to put the work in. You have to put the work in to call, to check up, to make sure that everyone is good. And put the work in to make sure that relationship flourishes and remains as strong as it has been from the beginning. And the last one is time is precious. Time is precious. There are more. Let me know, guys, if you would like a part 2, because there's a lot more that I had, but these are the ones that I've decided to kind of stick with because I think they resonated with me the most. So these were like the first ones that came to mind. Time is absolutely key. And in my 20s, I was always like, I'm young, I'm in my 20s, I've got a long life, or I've got time ahead of me and stuff. But when you realize your 30s quickly come. Now I'm 33. Unfortunately, you hear about people, losing their lives, people moving far away, things happening, and you really realize time is precious. You start to realize that time is really one of the most valuable assets that we have is time. So I've started to really make use of my time intelligently. Not even just intelligently, thoughtfully, because when I was younger, time was nothing to me. Nothing, absolutely nothing to me. But now I'm more aware of my time, where I invest in my time, and how much I invest in my time in something or in someone. Time is precious, guys, and prioritizing how and whom you spend that time with is also key. Guys, I really hope you like this video. Let me know if you want to hear some more points, because girl, I definitely had some more points. And let me know in the comments which ones resonated with you. This is my final look. What do you guys think? I'm going to change my earrings and put my dress on, and then I'm going to go. Let me know if you guys like this video and if you guys would like some more sit down chit chat videos, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.